Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Ops Show. I'm your host, Keith DeBeetham. The Daily Ops Show is brought to you live from the historic Claudia Martin Theater, filmed in front of a live plushy audience in downtown Watoga. Tonight's guest, Avery. He has a face for radio and a voice for mime. Come on in, Avery. Welcome, Avery. Take a seat. And joining Avery and I tonight is going to be Hideo. He puts the lime in your coconut and shakes it all up. Come on in, Hideo. All right, take a seat. I love that outfit, Hideo. All right, so tonight our first topic is going to be let's have a quick chat about mods. The question that I most often get about mods is, are they legal? Avery, what's your take?
My impression is that they're legal unless they're exploits of any kind, like unless they're some sort of detrimental effect to the game. But they can't come out right and say all mods are good, because there could be some that are, let's call it off-brand. So you're not going to get in trouble for using a mod, but don't push your luck.
That's fair. And now you and I both use mods. Hideo, you don't. Tell us why you don't use mods.
Well, the reason I don't use mods, Keith, is because this game is stable enough already. By which, I mean, it's certainly more stable than it was at launch. But let's face it.
I mean, but here's the thing. You can polish a turd. And one of the ways you can do that is with mods. So my favorite mod is the one that shows how much of your health, because I'm a bloodied build, that shows how much of your health is actually gone. So you get to that 19.9%, you're gonna be full unyielding, full bloodied, and still have the most hit points that you can have. Avery, what kind of mods do you like?
Bloodied for sure. I've got one that turns sugar bombs into a bright green, so they look properly irradiated, so I can use them for sugar bombs. I've got another one that turns the bobbleheads and magazines into balloons, so that I can see them without having to be 5 feet from them. So it makes them easier to find, especially if you're looking for, in my case, small guns for damage, or leadership for the XP boost.
Oh, leadership all day. Now, Hideo...
I've also got one that's a map. So I've got a improved map that shows locations of treasure maps.
And that's TZ maps, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, and that one's customizable. I think you said you made your own customized map, right?
Yeah, I opened up a BA2 file and modified the map because the author made too many variants and couldn't keep up with the variants. So basically just said, like, here's how, have at it.
Right,
so
I can't keep up with all you hoodlums. You got to do it yourself from now on.
It was a lot.
Yeah, I bet. Now, Hideo, if there were a mod that would convince you to start using mods in 76, what mod would you look for? What would tickle your winky?
I haven't really put a lot of thought into it, because like I say, I try to keep the game as stable as I can. But
well, let's kick it back to. I'm sorry. Let's kick it back to Fallout 4. What mods in Fallout 4 did you really enjoy?
I didn't mod it much there either. But I got to admit, something that would make the user interface, the Pip-Boy, more keyboard friendly, as opposed to, I mean, it's obvious the interface is designed for a controller,
right?
But a keyboard has a lot more keys, and I think that would allow more flexibility in the Pip-Boy interface. So, better ways to sort your inventory mostly.
Yeah,
would be ideal.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Now, there are a couple of mods that do help with inventory management, but not in the way that you're speaking of. But that would be, yeah, because I hadn't really thought about it before, but navigating the Pip-Boy with in mouse and keyboard, especially if you have 15 weapons and 40, 58 items, it's kind of a nightmare to find what you're looking for.
It is indeed.
Okay, so let's move on to our next topic, and Hideo, we'll start with you on this one. What are your thoughts on Fallout First? Do you think it's worth it?
I think that Fallout First brings it up to the game that we were all expecting it to be. So from that standpoint, if you want the game that you thought you were getting, yes. I certainly enjoy not having to micromanage my weight, and especially when it comes to junk, because I'm kind of a pack rat. I mean, even as it stands, like without all of my weight reduction mods, I carry around 650 pounds of stuff. With
Right.
weight, I can only fast travel with a modified suit of excavator armor.
This
Right,
explains a lot.
Yeah, no kidding. And if we talk about, the way that, I guess we were trained in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, we'll exclude New Vegas, but you picked up everything all the time, especially 4. You had to in 4. The half of the rush of Fallout 4's like first couple of hours was finding enough crystal to build the transmitter so you could get people to start coming to your town. And then in 76, there's like a hard cut, and you hit it real early in the game.
That's right.
Yep. So that's a good point. Avery, what are your thoughts about Fallout First?
I've had it since they introduced it. Where I find its real value is, and this is a problem that they created and then solved with Fallout First, so take it for what it's worth. I play the scoreboard. Every time that the scoreboard updates, there's new dailies, there's new weeklies, and often these are a rush for resources on a public server to go kill a bunch of mole miners or kill a bunch of scorch. If you have a private world, you can go and do all of those uninterrupted. You don't have to jump servers when there's not a lot of things for you to kill, or somebody's taking over all the workshops and you don't want to have to fight for them. It just makes that process a lot easier, more streamlined.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, is the price worth what you get back? I mean, it's hard to argue that it is, I think.
Right.
That said,
certainly
Convenience for sure.
it's more than we've been led to, sort of conditioned to expect, coming through the Fallout series. In Fallouts 1 through 4, you pay one price and you've got the whole game. Here, you pay and then you keep paying. So it's more than we're used to paying as Fallout players. But compared to, WoW or any other MMO, it's about in line with that. So,
I mean, I would argue that Fallout 76 isn't really an MMO. 24 players isn't really an MMO.
So it's
But
barely multiplayer.
yeah, it's
multiplayer.
it's a KMO, a kind of multiplayer online game. But like I would say that it is worth getting once in a while. Like, go out, do your farming, fill up your stash box, maybe get it for a month, dump all your stuff, grind all the junk you can for that month, hit all, take the junkyards, get the resource extractors going, build up as much as you can, and then just coast on that for the next, as long as you can stretch it out.
You could, if all you want is the stash
scrap
box and you don't need your tent, or scrap box, and you don't need your tent, and you don't need the worlds for the convenience. Just stuff everything into the scrap box and just wait it out.
Right? Especially now that you can have multiple camps, you can just build a mobile camp and pay 40 caps or whatever to take a whole camp with you instead of a tent. And you can place them
so it's
almost
effectively
anywhere. Yeah, you just build, your own little camp that has a mobile blueprint. You pop that down. Because what do you need? You need a stash box and maybe a workbench.
There literally
cooking
is a
match?
tent in the build menu.
Right.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not wrong.
So I mean, there's totally ways to work around it. But the scrap box is kind of where it's at.
The scrap box is super convenient. I have a scrap getting bought, and I constantly swing by my camp, drop the scrap in the scrap box.
Yep.
I've got thousands at this point of everything.
Oh, yeah.
But you can never have too much.
Well, I mean, and if you can, we'll find out when the servers start crashing. But let's move on to our final topic for this evening. Avery, if there was one mechanic that you could add to the game, whether it be from one of the previous Fallouts or just something that you think would go a long way to maintaining or bringing in new audience, or even just to make your day-to-day game experience better, what do you think you would add?
Right. I've got a lot of the things that I had from previous games. Like the trade system is sort of like the mutations now. There's buffs and debuffs depending, so you can sort of try to min-max, get the ones that you want, the ones that best suit you. So there's that. I've got a jetpack now, which I had a mod for in 4, but now I've got one in this game. What I'd like, really, this is probably not something that anybody cares about, but I want to be able to, and I've said this for years, be able to place junk around my camp. Just artfully place a box of San Francisco sunlights and a cigar and a little cigar tray. That kind of thing would make the immersion level so much higher.
Yeah.
You could customize it to that degree. And I know you can have this because it exists in all the other environments in the map. So why not at camps? I don't like display cases. They rub me the wrong way. That's not how I want to display it.
Comments like that would make Lord Immersion proud.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, you don't know MXR?
Sure.
MXR is a YouTuber. He used to do a lot of Fallout 4 mods. He's where I got most of my advice for Fallout 4 mods from, as far as what to try and what not to try and that kind of thing. But, Hideo, what would you like to see introduced to the game?
I'd like to see grenade launchers made useful. And the way you do that is to allow grenade launchers, both the single shot and automatic, to use different kinds of grenades. The handheld grenades, what do you have, 10 different kinds? Grenade launchers, only explosive and only barely.
Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, because you could do
grenades. Come on.
Oh, absolutely. Because there's all these damage types. You could do high explosives for one, just to before Grenader increase the explosive range. You got freezing, you got poison, you got fire. You could do anti-armor, like frag.
The Nuka grenades would be hilarious.
Oh my god!
Oh, wow.
Giant blue explosions. Oh man, can you imagine though fighting a queen with a fire 8 grenade launcher, and there's 2 people shooting giant blue explosions at her? That's gonna be as bad as that orbital strike gun people used to use. But I mean, I'm into it. It's a great idea. I love the idea.
The other thing is, I wish outfits were mix and match. Mix the tops and the bottoms.
Right.
Yeah. I don't see that one happening, but that would be a great addition. It would be nice because that would be just a monumental undertaking for them to do, to split all of the outfits in half.
Well, it is a wish list, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't. You know what I mean? They have 15 other kinds of apparel. There's no reason you couldn't add pants and shirts.
That's
right. There's
right.
rings and masks and hats and vests and there's all kinds of it's absolutely doable. I just don't have any faith that they would ever do anything like that.
Well, I don't think there's a lot of demand for it.
Well, that's fair too.
There it is. Yeah.
As far as the laundry list of things that we're all wishing for, that's probably not near the top. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know what I would want. For me, I like crafting mechanics to be expanded. That was one of the big things that I enjoyed in Fallout 4, was getting the better crafting systems installed. Really, mostly just taking the RNG, the terrible RNG, out of the game, at least a little bit. If I could pay, extra modules and cores, and maybe not even a guaranteed chance, but a better chance to get, say, an anti-armor star. and maybe I can only pick one. But if I can get an anti-armor star, and I'm only rolling, 2 or 3 other stars, because the 4 stars are about to come out soon, I mean, that would just, because it's going to be at least useful. I understand why they don't want to do that, because then all of the other legendary effects are going to be complete garbage. Nobody's ever going to want them. Nobody wants them now, though.
Your audio's cutting out there.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, it'll be fine in the recording anyway. But that is our last topic for the evening. So I want to thank everybody for tuning into our broadcast. If you enjoyed the show, please hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, please subscribe. If you'd like to meet the cast and crew, visit us on Discord. Link will be in the doobly-doo. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.